You don't have to make up for anything, especially if that other parent is out of the picture because they were toxic and unhealthy. And it was a necessary separation for everyone's well-being. Do not overindulge, spoil, and make permanent dependence out of your kids and be over accommodating out of some sense of guilt. Welcome to the Pastor's Lounge. I'm Sherry, your unapologetically Christian therapist. Here we talk about all things mental health and wellness from a biblical perspective. This conversation today is really near and dear to my heart because it's my story. We're going to get into single parents and being the product of a single parent household. The first thing I want to do is just give a heartfelt, genuine hug, shout out to my mama who raised me by herself, unapologetically for Jesus, and made some huge sacrifices and some tough decisions to make sure that I was everything that God told her that he needed me to be. And it wasn't easy, but she was determined and she was steadfast. And so, Mommy, this is for you today. And for all the moms and dads that are going it alone with the Lord, I just want to encourage you today. So I hope this is really a blessing. And this is part one of two conversations we're going to have about this. This first part is just for the parents, the single parents, grandparents, single guardian, whoever you are that is raising a child or children for the Lord and you're struggling and it's hard. So this is for the caregivers today. And then the next video, we're going to talk to the me out there, the kids, the people, the products who are on the other side of that experience and what it's like growing up without that other parent and how to heal from that, because that does leave a scar and we know it. So let's jump right in. Everything about this setup is really strategic. So I've got, kind of the one earring going on to kind of show that there is an imbalance, right? When you have to do parenting by yourself. But the encouragement is, as this wonderful shirt says, that God is within her, God is within him, if this is a single dad out there, and you will not fail. Coming from the book of Psalms. So just know that going it alone doesn't mean that you are going to have a harder time, because if God is with you, you cannot fail. So this encouragement is broken down into some points that I just reflected on as I thought about my own life and the things that my mom specifically did to help me be a successful woman, knowing that my father was not going to be around. And even if you were available, it would not be wise, it would not be good. And she honored the Lord and obeyed him when she had the opportunity to include him. And the Lord said no, because he had other plans. And so whatever the reason is that has brought you to be at the point of single parenting, whatever the circumstances are, there is hope, and this encouragement is for you. So here are my top 10 encouragements to single parents, single guardians out there today. And I pray that this is really a blessing to you. And I'll interweave bits and pieces of my story throughout, because I want to keep it personalized. So it just really stays, really resonates that much more. So point number one, single parent, single guardian, whoever you are, you and God are the majority. I don't ever want you to look down on your circumstance, your situation, your setup, your dynamic, because another parent is missing. If you've got the Lord, you've got the majority. You can lean into his wisdom. There is room for you in the word. There are scriptures to support you. He will step in. Ask the Holy Spirit. This is something that my mother did constantly. There was never a morning, and to this day, there is never a morning that I do not hear her pray. She's consistent and steadfast and was determined to seek the Lord's wisdom and to trust in him for every decision. So yes, know that you and God are the majority and you can do it. Number two, get mentors for your kids or continue to believe God for them to enter their lives at various life seasons. Something that I am grateful for is that as much as my father was never involved in my life, God gave me other excellent male examples. I have a rich life in in individuals at different seasons, whether it was a teacher, whether it was a different educator, a professor, family members of mine, family friends who stepped in at different seasons and intervals of my life to just, whether they realized it or not even, just to be present enough that I saw examples of the things that I was missing. And it was so healing and so helpful to experience. So be intentional about praying that into your kids' lives or pursuing it, and finding wonderful role models that can fill in the spaces that you can't. Because remember, you're just one person. You can't do it all, and that's okay. Next one is, this is a big one, and this might ruffle some feathers, but it has to be said. Do not compromise for company or money. This was a huge sticking point for my mom. I remember her telling me that she went to the Lord and said, look, I need to only be able to trust in you. And so you're going to have to provide. And I need you to help me to stay so focused on my daughter that you just kind of remove my need for anyone else, because I don't want there to ever be a different circumstance I have to deal with, a different problem that I need to solve. I want to be fully, wholeheartedly present for my daughter. So step in and help me to do that so I don't have to rely on anyone else. And God did that. I have so many clients that I work with now, or the kids of these scenarios where parents, out of their own desperation, their own needs, their own loneliness, allowed a wolf into the sheep's pen. And there were tons of painful, we won't even go into the details of the type of brutal consequences that can come with that. Now, does that mean that God cannot provide you an incredible partner who loves the Lord, who comes alongside you, sees you as you are, embraces you, your child, your children, and desires to step in and be what's missing there, and does so wholeheartedly, beautifully? There are incredible God-given step parents out there. This is not at all a bashing of a blended families and allowing the blessing of God to come to you in that way. But I challenge you to take the time to consider, is this person from the Lord, or are they just company for you because you're too scared of being alone, or you're worried that, well, if I don't make this unhealthy or uncomfortable circumstance work, I'm not going to have enough money to take care of my kids? Then that goes back to the first point. You and God are the majority, and you have to trust and believe that. Don't compromise. Don't risk your children's safety with someone that you know is not right, just to fulfill your own desires or needs. Let the Lord heal you, handle you, get the therapy, do the work so you can walk it out alone until unless, if it's even the plan, the right person comes along at the right time. If that is your desire and that is the Lord's will. I'm serious about this point because I know the difference it made when my mom chose to literally forsake all others, marry Jesus, and raise me alone. And I am not sorry. I'm not. Number 4, this is a big one too. Don't assume your child or children will suffer or project your past onto them, and thereby invite more issues through weak or overindulgent parenting and efforts to make up for being a single parent. Shall I break that down? That was really wordy. Let me try that again. Basically, don't feel like you have to make up for the fact that you're doing it alone. Don't feel like now I have to buy you everything. I have to say yes to you all the time. I can't let you cry. I can't let you be consequenced. I have to give, yes, you all the way to adulthood to make up for the fact that my childhood wasn't perfect, or our circumstances aren't great, or I got a divorce and I hurt you, and because of that, you're so angry that I have to make sure you get every single thing you want because now I've made your life so complicated and it's so heavy now because you are without one of your parents. Let me tell you right now, that's a lie. That's a lie. You don't have to make up for anything, especially if that other parent is out of the picture because they were toxic and unhealthy, and it was a necessary separation for everyone's well-being. Do not overindulge, spoil, and make permanent dependence out of your kids and be over accommodating out of some sense of guilt. You don't have to do that. Take ownership for the fact that perhaps, yes, you made a wrong choice in partners, and now because of it, you have to make a decision, make a cut, and raise your children by yourself. You can acknowledge that. Get them therapy. To have the conversation, obviously wait till it's age appropriate. Be honest as you're able to be, and take it on the chin that yes, their life is a little bit more complex or a little bit more difficult temporarily, or there's some bruising that they're gonna walk through, emotionally, in that this other parent is no longer here. But you do not have to then spend the rest of your life giving into every single desire that they have because, well, I'm not with their father, I'm not with their mother anymore, so I just have to give. That's not true. And you will raise a tyrant. It will hurt them. It will not help them. And that communicates to them that because they don't have this, seemingly picture perfect household, that they are owed something indefinitely from the world, or that they're broken. What you're communicating to them is, you are so messed up and you are so indefinitely wounded and bruised and feeble that I have to always extra cushion you with all this extra stuff because, the situation has so maimed you. That's a horrible thing to be indirectly communicating, versus you're just as strong, just as capable, just as mighty, just as wonderful, even though dad, mom, whoever is not here. And if there are needs that you have emotionally, mentally, socially, otherwise, tell me, and we're gonna supplement for that. We're gonna make sure that those needs are met. But you certainly are not gonna walk with a limp. We're certainly not gonna build the world to being this big over accommodation for you. No, we're not, because you're still great and you're still gonna do great things with your life. That's a whole different experience, folks. Let's lean into that one. All right. So I already know some people are already like, I don't know, Sherry, but trust me. Number 5, God takes special delight in kids' needs, and those missing a parent expect to be provided for. You see so many scriptures where Jesus loved on kids. What does it say? I believe it's in James. Someone's going to correct me. That it is our responsibility as Christians to extend our love and our kindness to the widows and the orphans. God is sensitive to those who are not well parented and not well supported. So if it is in his word that this is part of our responsibility as Christians, this is something that God takes really seriously, he will provide. I can't even tell you how many times my mom and I have had different challenging moments and God would just show up. People would randomly be like, I just felt to give you this check. I just felt to, take care of this for you. I remember there was one time where the new Adidas sneakers are really, really popular, the kinds like with the classic Adidas with the stripes on them, right? I really, really, really wanted a pair. And it really, really, really wasn't in the budget. It was not priority in any way. I didn't even mention it to my mom. I don't think I even said it out loud to her that I really wanted a pair of them because, they were cool and everybody had them. And I will never, I'm looking up because I'm picturing where I was in the kitchen in our house that someone gave us a bag of donated stuff that they didn't need, all new, really, really, good condition stuff. I opened the bag. What was right on top? A pair of white, pristine, just my size Adidas sneakers. I will never forget it. And that was just sneakers. We're not talking about food, the educational opportunities that God gave me, the favor. I could fill another hour with the ways that God came through to make it clear, you little girl are not gonna walk around feeling sorry for yourself because your dad is not here. Your mom prays way too much. She covers you way too much. You will have everything that you need, and even things that you just want. God is good. You have to trust him and believe that he'll provide. He will, I promise you. Expect it. Expect it. Know that ultimately you were blessed with this child or these children for a reason. Single parenting period is hard. Single parenting is extremely, extremely challenging. And I would be remiss to not give room to the fact that you could truly be feeling like, oh, really, Lord, I have to do this by myself. How do I find joy in my children when all I can experience is the weight of this responsibility by myself? I can't even enjoy just being silly with them because all I'm thinking about is what are we gonna eat tomorrow? And do I have money to get you that uniform? And are we gonna be able to do that? And it's just so much about the weight of the responsibility that it's hard to just enjoy being the parent because you don't have anyone to share that load with. And that's real. That's not to just be ignored and flicked to the side. So choosing to believe that despite how challenging it is to do it alone, that you could have not had these kids, right? We know that children are a blessing from God, and he puts babies in wombs. And if he, in his sovereignty, knowing that there would come a point at which you and that partner, whoever you're with, parted ways, and you would end up with the bag, you would be alone with these babies. If he still foresaw this and allowed it to be, then you've been blessed with them. They're not burdens, they're not punishments, they're blessings. Babies are a gift from God. Look for the gift that they are. Ask the Lord, show me, why'd you give me this one? You gave me this baby. What's his or her purpose? Who are they gonna be? How can I use what little I've got to invest in them and enjoy them? Help me have fun with them, Jesus. My mom already knows. We processed so many of these things. My mom was not fun with me as a little girl, and she'll laugh about this now. We can talk about this openly and comfortably now, but she wasn't the silliest mom. She had a really rough, painful childhood, so she didn't know how to have fun and be tender and be silly. She knew how to raise me in the things of God, and I am beyond grateful that if I had to choose between the tender and the discipline in the word, I'm grateful for where she leaned more heavily. And now as an adult, we get to make up for where there wasn't a lot of the silliness in my younger years. So God is so faithful and so restorative. So tuck that away too. God redeems the time. But in that chapter, she didn't have time to be silly. She was problem solving all the time, so she had to recognize that she knew I was a gift from the Lord. And though she didn't have the capacity or the bandwidth to be silly with me in those younger years, she never mistook the fact that I was a blessing. I was God's gift to her. She endeavored to have me when she was told she couldn't have kids. So she took the gift of being able to have me and to bear me seriously. So, well, too seriously sometimes, if we're honest, right? But seriously in that she knew this is a gift from the Lord, and I have to give this my all. So remember that and ask God to help you enjoy it, even in the midst of all the work that it takes, because you don't get those childhood years back, right? It's really, really tender. But because God is such a great restorer, he has a way of looping it back around in later years. And I'm experiencing that right now, and it's beautiful. For all the Christian parents, I know I'm talking mostly in this crowd, stay in church, but don't let church raise your kids. So let's not get lazy about this. Because you are, one man down or a woman down, and you're doing a lot of it, and church is just a safe haven. You drop them off and put them in children's church and the nursery and the teen church and all the things. You're like, good. Fill in all the gaps for me. Yeah, they're a supplement, but they're not the meal. Church is not the meal. Church is the supplement. It is your job, mom, dad, single parent, to invest spiritually into your children. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. Don't wait for someone else to do it, because nobody will do it as good as you, which I'll add to that point. I ain't right here, but it is embedded within there. You have to practice what you preach. So don't just bring them to church and assume that you're going to be able to live however you want, and then church is going to somehow, erase whatever they saw at home. I learned to pray at my mother's feet, not at church. I learned to appreciate the word, delve into it, learn to understand it for myself, lean on the Holy Spirit from my mother. Church was always supplemental to any of my spiritual knowledge or experience. And I thank God for that, because church is necessary, but parents, you are the one responsible for laying that foundation. When God says, train up the child the way he should go, he wasn't talking to church, he was talking to parents. You train them, you lead them, you show them by your actions the power of prayer, the power of faith, trusting in God, believing, and then standing and not wavering when you're saying God's going to provide for our needs. I know we're a little short on money right now, but God's going to take care of it. And then mean it when you say it, and don't vacillate. Don't say you're going to do something and then not be a person of your word. So yes, be in church. Yes, surround them with good, godly things, but you be the example first, because you're who they're spending most of their time with, and you're who they're watching and listening to the most. You be that first. You live that out first, and it will make all the difference. Number 8, tell your kids the truth. Always. They're going to ask questions. Where's daddy? Where's mommy? Why are they not here? How come she left? Why are they not raising me? How come they don't call me? How come they don't visit me? Kids want to know. And some parents will lie or say, oh, they're just traveling, or they're just busy, or they're just... Kids aren't as foolish as you think. Tell the truth. Tell it in a way that is age appropriate. It's okay to say, that's an important question, and I do want to answer it. But give mommy, give daddy a minute. Let me pray about it first, and God's going to help me answer that for you the right way, in a way that's helpful to you, in a way that you'll understand. And maybe the narrative gets more complex and more robust as they get older, but don't not answer them, because then you leave them to make stuff up. It's important that they understand as a human what's going on. Don't sugarcoat stuff. Don't lie. Tell the truth. And incorporate the Lord, of course. Ask God for wisdom. Pray with them after you've shared the information to the degree that you're able to, and let God do the healing. Let the Lord let it land the way it needs to for that season, that moment in their lives. And He will step in. He will help them to integrate that information and to still feel valuable and loved and enough, even if the other person chose to walk away. So don't assume that they can't handle truth. I asked my mom, where's my dad? Where is he? And my mom told me, he's not here. He didn't want the responsibility. So it's me and it's Jesus. I was like, okay. Got it. Do you want to talk to him, Sherry? Do you want to connect with him at that age? Not really. I didn't. But I got enough information that I wasn't left to guess. And that was helpful for me. And again, you have to know your kid, their temperament, their maturity, whether that information is helpful to them at certain seasons, but don't indefinitely leave them in the dark about the situation, because you'll pay for that later. And you don't want that. All right? Simmer on that. Getting close to the end. Hang in there, parents. I said this earlier. Look at that. And it comes up again. Practice what you preach. Consistency is key. Now, this is not just about literally, as I was mentioning earlier, make sure you're praying, make sure you're walking before the Lord, walking with the Lord before them so your children can see it. This is also about, if you're telling them don't curse, don't yourself. If you're going to preach at them, like, make sure you're not, make sure you keep yourself till marriage, or, don't sleep around, or don't drink, or I don't want you smoking. Are you doing any of those things? If you're getting on them about what they're watching, what they're listening to, what are you listening to? If you don't like what they're wearing, what are you wearing? Practice what you preach and do what you say. If you say you're going to reward them, reward. If you say you're going to consequence them, consequence them. Don't say one thing and do another, or you make yourself untrustworthy. And you never want that to be the scenario when you're home. So stay consistent and be a person of your word. And finally, and this is a hard one. This is a hard one, but it's important. If your family or your close relatives are not in line with your parenting or your faith, it's okay to lovingly and respectfully distance yourself. This is a chapter that I personally walked through with my mom. It was painful and it was challenging, but at the end of the day, if you have set yourself aside for Christ, if you stand for righteousness, if there are certain habits, situations, scenarios in your family, certain conversations, certain things that are permitted that you don't permit, certain actions that you are not a fan of, certain conversations that you don't want your kid around, things that they're exposed to, things that are normalized in your relative or friend group, that now as you're single parenting and seeing the vulnerability of your children, you're like, I don't want you hearing that, seeing that. I don't want that to be something that you're exposed to. It's okay to draw a line. And though that is difficult, and though as a kid, they may not always understand it, you do what the Lord tells you to do. You must obey God. If you feel in your heart that a certain relationship is no longer serving you and is detracting from the seeds that you're trying to sow in your children, make the cut. Make the cut. Have a conversation and say, listen, this is a path that I need to walk. to best position my children or my child for the life that I believe God has for them, sorry, this is just not a relationship I can be in anymore. Do what you must for your children. They're the next generation. You don't know who you're raising. And I'm gonna add, that's all 10. I'm gonna add, speak life over your children. I will conclude the way I started, with a shout out to my mom, because something that I appreciate about her still to this day that she consistently did with me as a little girl all the way to now is she spoke and declared life over me. She told me when I was a kid, Sherry, God's gonna use you. God's hand is on you. You can't just do anything. You can't just be anywhere. You can't just do whatever you want, because God's hand is on you. His anointing is on you. He's gonna use you to bless people. You're just a different kid. You're a different kid. You have to accept it. But you are blessed. You are anointed. You have wisdom. You're gonna speak into people's lives. She declared things over me that we are just now seeing the fruit of. And I can sit back and say, my mom told me that. My mom prayed that over me. My mom showed me that in the Word. Do you know how priceless that is? It's so, I'll tell you what, the words of encouragement, the way that she raised me so intentionally was my buffer. It was like a cloak around me that let me know I'm different and I'm special because God says so and my mommy says so. And it fortified me for life. Elementary school, middle school, high school, college, grad school, and here to here, it has been like the biggest protection to be told since I was little that I was valuable and I had purpose. Speak life over your children. Speak over them the things that you desire to see formed in them, things that you never got to accomplish, that you want to see happen for them. Speak over them. Don't get jealous of them. Don't project your fear and your unhealed stuff onto them. Take that to the Lord. Take that to your therapist so you can be present for the gift, for the powerhouse that God has assigned you to raise. And so it is my privilege to be the product of a single mom who was single-minded on Christ. That is the best gift she could have ever given me. And for all the ways that she wasn't fun, she was filled with faith. And it's faith that has been steadfast. Give that gift to your kids. Don't worry about what's missing. That's God's job. Don't worry about who's not there. That's God's job. He'll fill in the gaps. He'll take care of it. I promise. But you have to trust him. Submit your life to him afresh. You will never, ever regret it. I know I've shared little bits and pieces of some of my life story with you today, and my mom and some of our experiences, and God blessed her. God told her to write a book, and she did. And so if you want to read it or hear more about our story in more detail, we'll leave that information just below. As you look in YouTube, you'll be able to have that in the description so you can take a look if you're interested. But at the end of the day, just remember, if we learn nothing else, take with point number one: you and God are the majority. You may look like you're alone, but you're not, because the greater one walks with you, walks with your babies, and you will raise them unto the glory of God, and they'll do amazing things and turn around and call you blessed. Thank you so much for watching. I pray this has been a blessing to you and this has inspired you. And if it has, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And until next time, I pray that you prosper and you are in great health, even and especially as your soul prospers.